when I do these barge rafters, I'm going to notch this one, and then that board is going to butt up into this one. Then I'm going to nail it off from the back here, nail it down, and those are going to hang over the edge, and the whole idea is to have the seam of the OSB in that location. So one of the things I had to take into consideration, because I don't think like a builder, is when my OSB is sheeted here and I've got the fascia out there, how far over the edge of my rafter tails will the OSB actually hang? Because the fascia is 1.5 inches, but it's at an angle, it's going to be 2 inches. So I'm going to measure this and subtract 2 inches, or go to 46 inches, and that's going to be the middle of that groove. And then I'll measure back 1.75 inches, measure forward 1.75 inches, and a 2x4 should lay right in there when it's done. And by doing that, I have basically a 3.5 inch space to be safe to line up the seams of the OSB on. The reason why you want that is because these are going to be hanging out in the air with no support on them other than the 2x4s that are going through, and I want all those seams to end up on those 2x4s. So just to let you know how I measured this off, this is actually, right, this line here is actually at 46 inches because of accounting for the 2 inches on the bottom. Every one from this point forward will be 48 inches from this middle mark. All right, so 1.75 inches, that gets the width of the 2x4. 1.5 inches down here gets rid of the 2x4, and the 2x4 lays in this one, and goes out 22.5 inches. Oh, sorry, that one, and then goes out 22.5 inches that way. Why 22.5 inches? Because when you put that fascia board on there, it's 1.5 inches material, so that'll take us to 24 inches even, which will give us a full 2-foot overhang on the front and the back gable ends. So I'm going to measure the rest of these going up. Again, I only have to do 1, 2, and then I'm going to butt it right against this one so that I can nail off here too, and I'll show you that when it's done. Let me get the rest of these measured. I'll start cutting, and then I'll show you what it looks like. All right, microphone went boom, camera went boom, microphone cradle broke. So, tripod broke too. So the idea behind a barge rafter is it gives support. Discuss this here. Gives support to the OSB that stretches out over the overhang. Okay, Todd made a jig so that every one of these block boards at the end end up in the same position on the wall, which is super, super cool. And that's the jig that he made right there. And with that angle, all the insulation will be laying perfectly flat when it gets to the bottom of the rafters. Very cool. Good job, Todd. Do I have what? Right here. It was sure dumping yesterday for the little amount of snow that we ended up getting. Looks like we got about 2 inches. That's about it. It's Tuesday and I just went and voted. And then I've got the camera set up on Todd's tripod. He brought it over because the other tripod fell off the top, just shattered, broke the microphone on top, but I've taped that up to work until the new microphone shows up. But we got a piece of fascia on yesterday. I have all of the barge rafter purlins, whatever you want to call them, installed on the back, this whole row on the front, and I have 2 left to do here on the very front. All the blocking's done. As soon as we have that fascia board all installed all the way to the back, then it's time to put OSB on the roof. And I plan on doing that. Hopefully we'd like to get started on that today. The temperature has gone up drastically. So we went from 12 below zero just a couple of days ago. Yesterday morning it was, I don't know, right around zero, maybe 2-3 degrees. And then this morning when I woke up it was 28. Alaska. If you don't like the weather, just wait long enough, it'll change. We go inside and I'll show you how much snow we got in there. Oh, I should grab the shovel too. Alright, so as you can see, there's not much in here. Maybe a half an inch on the floor. I'm going to get that cleaned up. There's also probably about a half an inch up above. I'll get all that cleaned up before help gets here. When that storm came in yesterday, it came in fast. We went from just a little bit of snow to, oh my gosh, it is really going to snow. And the tarp did well. A little bit of snow built up right over here, I'll show you. See that? That's the only snow that really got stuck on the roof. There we go. See if I can coat it down. Good to go. I'm going to clean this up and get ready for today's work. Hopefully we're going to get a lot done. Yesterday we got a ton done. If I am ever anywhere where they sell these, this is just that little lens that goes on the outside to stop the glare. I need to get another one because this broke a while back. And it still works. I just kind of flip it over the end of the camera. And that just keeps the glare from coming in from the sun on either direction. All right, I guess I'll stir it up here at the top. So I'm going to be working on the roof. If not today, then very soon, like tomorrow. And I've had quite a few people say, be very careful while you're on the roof, and especially with the snow and, you know, the ice and everything else that we deal with here. So I bought this roof safety bucket, right? It's actually bucket of safety, of safe tie, and it's for working on roofs. So it comes with everything that I need. It comes with a tempered anchor, 50 foot of vertical lifeline, comes with a harness, comes with everything else. So I'm going to open this up right now. Don't know if I'm using it today, but I'm going to have to secure that tempered anchor. I'm going to have to secure that right up here. So that way I have access on both sides of the roof to from the middle to the sides. And then if I do slip and fall, there won't be enough slack in the rope for me to actually hit the ground outside. You know, I'll just slip, and I'll be able to get back up again. But I actually had to drive all over to find this yesterday. They didn't have one at the orange store, and then I went by AIH, which is Alaska Industrial Hardware, and they're just so expensive. It's crazy how much you pay for anything at that store. So I found one there, and it was like the cheap one was like 320 bucks, and it didn't even have everything in it I needed. And I found this at SBS, and it's got everything I needed. It cost me maybe $130. I forget. I'll have to look at the receipt. But trust me when I say that it's well worth spending 130 bucks and being safe and not having to worry about falling off your roof. barge rafters are on. The last thing we have to do before we can do the roof is the fascia. Todd got this started with the help of Brian yesterday. And you want it...
We'll go to the long point on
the long point on this one?
Yeah. So out at the outside edge.
All the way out here?
Yeah.
Okay.
So...
You want me to burn an edge? Let me burn an edge.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So we'll go 114 1/4, so 113 1/4.
113 1/4, and then how much do we have to go down there? Because we're going to need to have 2 feet, or I'm going to have to buy another board for the top. 113 1/4.
This plus 22 1/2. So we got 7 feet, so we got plenty.
Okay, good. Yeah, because we only need the 22 1/2 on the other end.
Oh, you mean for your top?
For the top plate for
Yeah.
the front fascia. Well, and I need it for the back too, but I'll probably have to buy one more piece of wood.
Yeah.
That's no biggie. I can buy a small 2x12.
Yeah.
And then we don't have to worry about it, because I do need it for the front and the back, and we won't have enough off of the 2 sides to do front and back. And I was going to say I'll just wait and do the back later, but knowing me, if I don't do it now, it'll never happen. So
Yeah, you got 2 foot, 4 foot, 6 foot, 8 foot. So if you got an 8 foot 2x12,
I'd be fine. I can pick that up. The other thing is that this is an angled cut right here. So what'd you cut this at? 30?
33, 33.9, whatever was stock on your saw.
Okay, so he cut this at 33.9 so that we'll be able to nail through this, and it'll pick up both sides going into the rafter tails down here. And it'll make for a cleaner cut so that, you know, as it warps or does whatever it's going to do, it's a harder warp, a harder thing for the wood to warp there and separate, so it'll look nice. So 113 1/4?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. All right.
First run is on, man. And we have a drip edge on there. So when you saw Todd working with the tape measure on one end after we had got where we needed to be on the first end, that's because we were trying to keep the edge nice and even so that we're nice and square going up from this rack forward. But the first row on the rafters, very nice, very exciting. Good job, Todd. Right? Uh-oh.
Sneak around the corner here.
You steer us from the back.
Okay, go ahead.
The minute I say you steer us from the back, I didn't mean wreck.
What'd you get for trusting me?